There was an intruder this morning. An intruder in my garden, dear. It's a liberty, that's what it is. How these things think they can just walk into my garden at random, dear, and do whatever they like. It was a strange intruder this morning in my garden. There I was, sitting there, watching last night's Casualty on the television. Does anyone watch that? BBC One, Casualty, Saturday nights. Do you watch that? Well, I watch it on a recording, because obviously I'm at work at that time. And I looked out the window. There is a pigeon. There is a pigeon in my garden. What a cheek, dear. But it wasn't an ordinary pigeon. This is the thing. It was grey. Looked like an ordinary pigeon. Looked like grey and brown. And instead of going forward and doing those strange head movements, right, with its beak, don't they walk funny? Their heads go backwards and forwards, don't they? Instead of doing that, the pigeon was, strangely enough, reversing down a little hill in my garden. I've never seen anything like it, dear. And what annoys me even more, does that cat think it's here to just eat and sleep? No, nowhere to be seen, dear. Where was Katie the cat? How dare a pigeon land in my garden like that, and Katie's nowhere to be seen? Well, I'm not happy with that. I might have to withhold her meals. Very, very strange indeed. Hello to you. My name's Chris Reardon. This is United Kingdom Talk, coming to you from a studio that still needs to be desperately decorated. Yes, gang, I'm afraid I have not heard from the person who was going to decorate my room. Now, I don't know what to do, dear. I really don't, because, funnily enough, this morning, and I only told you about this 2 days ago, a little note dropped through my door. Among the fan letters and all that, of course. A little note dropped through my door. And it said, hang on, I've got it here. Just a minute. Let me go and get it. I'll read it to you. 1 minute. Where is it now? There it is, I've got it. Look at this. Isn't it funny how such a thing should drop through my door in my hour of need? ML Handyman Service. There's a phone number and an email address. It says he does plumbing, electrical, fixing things, and decorating, which includes painting, plastering, repairing. So he seems to do it all. Trouble is, I don't know who it is. I always get a bit worried about letting someone in your house you don't know, you know? £20 per half hour. So I suppose, how long would this room take? A couple of days? So how much would that be? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. About 250 quid, I suppose. And it says discounts for half or whole day rates. So I reckon they do this room for 200 quid. I reckon. Which seems all right to me. What do I do? I don't know what to do. Should I wait another couple of days to see if this other one rings me or what? I tell you what, I'll leave it one more. I'm going to leave it one more day, and if he doesn't ring up, yes, I'll call this man. Isn't that funny? How something should drop through your letterbox in your hour of need. Although no offers of partners, I'm afraid. No, that one hasn't happened. I mean, I must be one of the people registered on virtually all of those. I think I must be now on all of the internet chat sites. That's it. Internet chat sites. Oh, that's hard to still go on. Try and say that quickly. Internet chat sites. Internet chat sites. Internet chat sites. I think I'm registered on every single one of them in all the countries. And yet I don't get any messages from anyone that I remotely fancy. I can't lie to you, okay? I can't lie to you. I do get the occasional message, but then I look and I thought, oh no, you're not for me. You know? What is it about trying to find this needle in a blimmin' haystack? It's very, very difficult. The email address of the show is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, talking of cats and pigeons, someone has become a daddy. Yes, no, it's not Deckins Dundee. I told you about him. He's a daddy to a child. right? Although it hasn't been born yet, you know, she's just become, I was going to say infected then. She's not become infected, has she? She's just become in the pregnant way, Deck's girlfriend, so congratulations to you. No, it's not him. Someone else has become a daddy, my friend Grant, whose cat has had kittens. Now, he's got quite a few cats in his house. I mean, quite a few, right? I mean, the place must stink. Oh, dear. You can have too many cats, can't you? Oh, I don't know, can you? Susan, our cat lover, do you think you can have too many cats in one house? Anyway, I think he had 3, 1 male and 2 girls. And now one of the girls has already had kittens, which I think are about 3 weeks old or something like that. And the other cat too now has had kittens. So he's become a daddy all over again. No, actually, he's a granddad now, isn't he? Surely if your cat... Hang on, let me work that out. No. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you are daddy to your cats. Therefore, if your cat has kittens, you are then granddaddy to the kittens, aren't you? Think about it. Of course you are. He's a granddaddy to his kittens. But nothing is so simple on this programme, as you know. Apparently... he found what the... Oh, dear, this is awful. Now, if you're having breakfast or dinner or something, watch out here, OK? The cat apparently climbed into his bed and under the duvet covers to have the kittens. Oh, how sweet is that? But what a mess, dear. Oh, God. I couldn't just wash those sheets and use them again, could you? I'd have to chuck them away and that's it. Oh, the mess in one's bed, dear. Oh, it's bad enough if you have an accident yourself, but your cat's giving birth under his duvet. Isn't that nice? Oh. It gets better. Right? After they kind of... I don't know if he wouldn't have left them under the duvet, would he? Actually? No, I wouldn't have thought so. After they'd done that, I suppose she moved them to somewhere else and then started cleaning them. Or maybe he pulled the sheets back. But get this right, the other cat, right, came over, the other adult cat, adult cat and kitten, OK? So the kittens and the adult cat is on the bed. I assume they stayed there, I don't know. But after they had all been born, the other cat, the other female cat, got up from her litter, which is now about 3 or 4 weeks old. This is a lovely story. Walks through his flat and assisted the newly given birth cat. She assisted the newly given birth cat in cleaning the new kittens. How sweet is that? Oh, we like stories like that. So I must say congratulations to my friend Grant, who has become a granddaddy of kittens. Isn't that nice? Funny enough, my friend Ron... he keeps going on about possibly purchasing a cat, and it's very, very risky. But I'm considering getting him one of Grant's cats and just taking it up there, complete with litter tray and basket and things like that. Just think, I don't know if I should do that or not. See, what if he does? He changes his mind, or I don't want it. I don't think he will. He's had dogs before, but the flat is too small for a dog, really, but perfect for a cat. And when he comes round here to see me, the fuss he makes over my Katie. He's not having her, though. I think Katie's putting a bit of weight. I noticed her as she was walking along the other day, her belly was swinging from side to side. It's true. And there's me with my 13 stone 4. Innit? 32. It's true, you start looking like your pets. Can you see the whiskers growing out of my face? Awful. All right, so that's the news in that's the cat news today. Couple of things I've been watching on the television. One was this show, $1 Million. Oh, hang on. Million. What was it? I think it was called $1 Million Traders, which follows these 7 people who are learning to do share dealing, and it's really good. Strangely enough, I can't find on one of the channels here in the UK on the BBC. They have the programmes do in the daytime, and some of them they repeat at night, and they have the hand language. You know, for deaf people, which is a good idea. I've always wanted to get the job of doing the hand language in the corner of that. You know, where they appear in the corner of the TV screen in the right hand corner at the bottom. People doing sign language. I'd like to do that job, but apparently I'm too. Even I am too tall to fit into that little square box in the corner of the television. You see, it's not fair, is it? Tall people have been excluded from that job, and I think that's wrong. I think that's against tall people. I really do, even though I'm 5'6". Anyway, so this program, and what they do is repeat the program at night with the little people in the corner. But for some reason, I can't find when it's on at a normal time, so you don't have to see the hand movements and all that business. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So this show, they're learning to become traders, market traders, and all that business. And this bloke, who's got loads of money, Lex something or other, and he's given all 7 of them as a whole £1 million. £1 million to play with. I know, to play with £1 million, and what they've got to do is invest this money and watch the stocks and shares going up and down, and hopefully make him loads of money. That's the idea of it. Okay. Oh, there's an email there. Just a minute. Oh, it's an email from James Dean. I wanted to talk to him on the phone, actually. Should we break in here and do it? Just a minute. Let me see. I've got to plug something in. Just a minute now. Because we want to talk. I've just got an email from James Dean. Stay there a second. Just a minute now. I should have had this set up earlier. Because we might be able to talk to him on the phone today, actually. Anyway, just quickly back to the $1 million traders. That's what they have to do, sell and buy shares. And none of them have ever done it before, and they all come from different backgrounds. Yeah, like normal job backgrounds. One is a fight promoter who does boxing things and all that business, and it's really interesting to do. And there was, I think it was 7 of them altogether, excuse me, seven of these people altogether, of which 6 were making no money at all. And they all joined right at the beginning of the credit crunch, which made things even harder for them. And I think there was only one of them, a woman, who was making any money. There was an old guy, Simon, who just kept losing and losing and losing, and eventually he just chucked it in. He met Lex and said, look, this really isn't for me, and that was that, which is funny, really, because Lex was going to sack him anyway, I think. But really interesting, because I didn't really know how it works. And what these people do, they literally spend their entire day in front of a couple of large computer screens, and they're watching stocks going up and down, and kind of, it's a bit of a guessing game, really. They're guessing when to buy the stocks and when to sell the stocks, and hopefully, you know, they buy stocks at, I don't know, 10 pence and sell them at 50 pence, and then they've made 40 pence per share each. And it's absolutely fascinating. But my God, I mean, some of these people, as you know, the city traders and that, they make an absolute fortune. They make millions. But I think you give up an awful lot just to make that money. I mean, they were coming in, I think, at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning, something like that, reading up on newspapers about things that could affect stocks. And you'd be surprised. Stuff like the weather, the oil supply, war zones and things like that. You've got to watch all these things which may or may not affect the stock. For example, if you were buying stocks in gas in Russia, and then suddenly Russia, because Russia has a row with some country and turns the gas off, then presumably that would make that gas stock go down, so you wouldn't want to buy that. And I just find it fascinating, but they work so hard. I remember a couple of his team, a couple of these 7 people, they were taking half-hour lunch breaks. So there's another guy in charge of them. Now, what was his name? Anton, who's quite young. He's about 27, 28 years old. And it was kind of a fly-on-the-wall documentary type thing, all right? So this was really happening. It wasn't just a story. This was actually happening. And Anton, he had a meeting with them all. And he said, well, some of you are going out and taking half-hour lunch breaks. He said, well, you just can't do that. If you're going to stay in this game, you bring yourself in a couple of sandwiches and then you eat them while you're working. And literally, these people are working from the moment they get there until they leave, I suppose, at 5 o'clock when the markets close. But fascinating. And I suppose you could compare it to horse racing or something like that. You could see, and I've got to say, I could become addicted to doing that. I don't think it would be because of wanting to become rich or anything like that. But the excitement of putting money on something, and really, even though you do all the homework and you watch the stock for weeks and weeks going up and down, or going up, or down, and reading up about it, perhaps who owns the stock and what it does. Do they make something? Is it in one of those dodgy zones or whatever like that? Even though you do all the homework and you put your money on, you're still not quite sure what it does. And that's exciting, isn't it? What an exciting job that would be. I suppose anyone could do it, really. These people were working in a hedge fund. And a hedge fund, I couldn't quite work out how that works. But apparently you have to sell a stock when it's high and hope that it loses money, and then you make money. I don't know how that works. I mean, they did explain on the telly that, but I couldn't get my head around that one. But absolutely fascinating. I wonder if you've ever done any share dealing like that, have you? I have to say, I do have a few shares. We're not talking thousands of pounds here, probably a few hundred, but they were mostly free, like from British Gas or British Telecom. I did sell someone. Not someone. I'm not into slavery, I'm afraid. Although I'm willing to be any fit person's slave. If you want a slave, then I'm the one for you, but please send a photograph first. I can't be a slave to a minger. I mean, I wouldn't be a slave to myself, would I? No, but you can see the real excitement in the job. You can see real highs when your stock shoots right up. And you can see real lows and possibly deep, deep depression when your money goes right down. And I think when I left the programme, there's one more programme to go, I think which is on tonight, actually, so I've got my video recorder set. When I stopped watching the programme, the group as a whole, all 7 of them, were running at a loss of £50,000. And the way this bloke Lex talks about money, I mean, it's just unbelievable. Thousands and thousands of pounds, and he talks about it like we might talk about pennies, really. Has anyone seen that at all? Fantastic show. I think it's, let's not write it down here. Let me see. $1 Million Traders or something like that. No, I can't find it. Something like that. And have you ever dealt in shares? Have you had your fingers burnt? Perhaps by buying the wrong shares? Or indeed, have you bought the right ones and made a bit of a killing? I think I had some shares in Barclays Bank, which I sold last year to pay off a bit of one of the mortgages. Because I've got a little bit of property, and I sold some of these shares, which was a good time to sell them, actually. It was about a year ago, probably a bit more than a year ago now. Just before they all went right down. So I've been lucky there. So what about you? You ever had any dealings with shares or stocks, anything like that? Did you have your fingers burnt? Or did you make loads of money? Let us all know. Anonymously, if you want to. The email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right, Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, let's just see. Right, 1 second now. I've got to check this works here. Yes, it does. There we are. Let's just... Oh, shut up. There's a noise there. Let's just see if I can talk to James Dean in Manchester. Because on the last show... Sorry, I'm banging around here. We were talking about, is there anything to do in Manchester? Right, 1 second now. We'll put him straight on, I think. Let's see if he answers the phone. It's always a bit naughty doing this like this, actually. Maybe. I don't know if he's going to answer the phone now. Oh, how annoying. Oh, hang on a minute.
Hello?
Oh, 1 minute. Stay there. Don't go anywhere. Are you there?
I am, yes.
Oh, there you are. James Dean in Manchester. I've been a very naughty boy, James.
Well, what have you done?
You're being recorded as we speak.
Oh, right.
So, good evening, James.
Good evening, Mr. Reardon.
How lovely to hear your voice. First of all, I'd like to thank you for sending me the email here that says you've completed my website.
I have. Well, nearly, yes.
Well, I haven't clicked... You're a little bit quiet there. Just a minute, let me turn you up there. I haven't... how do I do this? That's it. I haven't actually looked at the link yet, so I'm going to do that now, and you can get like a live response.
Yes, it just diverts to my website, you understand.
Right, well, I know that, yes. Let's have a quick look. Oh, yes. Oh, a black and white picture, dear.
Black and white, yes.
A black and white Union Jack. I've never seen anything like it, dear.
Well, I thought sepia would probably show your age better, but I went for black and white.
Beg pardon? You thought what?
I thought sepia would show your age a bit better, but I decided to go for black and white in the end.
Right. I like it very much, dear.
That's good.
I like the red round the outside. Not sure about the black and white Union Jacks.
Well, we can have a play around with that if you like.
Oh, thank you. Can you perhaps? Is that how many Union Jacks is that? 1, 2. There's 4 there, is it? In the background.
I think there is. Yeah, it just repeats it depending on your screen size.
Okay, just that to work on then, James. Could you make that my home page now? Are you able to do that?
I'm not able to do it just now. I want to, if you read my email, as I say, I want to give myself a bit longer time to actually sort out your server.
Okay, need to tweak a few bits and pieces. We'll have the site finished this evening, but we'll probably wait until later in the week to put it live. Oh, okay. Sorry, I do stand corrected. You were telling me off then, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
Now, the reason I called James Dean, who is host of the Matinee Show, you can have a look at that, matineeshow.co.uk, matineeshow.co.uk is where you'll find his podcast, is in Manchester. And the reason I'm ringing is because our friend Suko from New York and her dear husband Jerry and her daughter Jade are all coming over here end of June, isn't it?
It is, yes. Yes, I'm coming down to London at that time.
Oh, right. I might be away at that time, actually.
Are you away as well?
Yeah, I'm sure I will be. Do you find that often when you tell people you're about to come down to London that they're away?
I don't know, but the only reason I'm coming down is, well, obviously it's to come and see you. It just happens to be when Suko's coming to Manchester.
Ah, fair enough. Well, Suko wrote in a little email to me, and you've probably got it as well. She wanted to know, number one, are there any reasonable... See, it's very difficult when someone says reasonable hotels, because she makes stipulation that she doesn't want a cheap place, but she doesn't want an expensive place. I think she's just being damn awkward, to be honest.
She is, yes. That's what it is. And it's very difficult as well, because what you would consider to be a reasonable hotel,
yes,
I would consider to be an expensive one.
Right, okay. I don't spend money on hotels. I look at hotels as I want a bed, a television and a shower. That's it. I don't need the luxury velour towels and all this business, dear. I mean, we don't need that. And you've probably never actually seen a velour towel, have you, James?
No, I haven't, no.
No, I didn't think so. Anyway, so she wants to know that. But the other thing is, which I've kind of made my suggestions. I suggested Travel Lodge, and she came back and said she didn't want anything cheap.
Oh, well, I suggested Premier Inn, because they're similar, but a bit nicer.
OK, but the main thing was she's going to spend a week in London and a week in Manchester. Now, as you know, I am a Londoner. Maybe it's because I am a Londoner. So I know there's lots and lots to do in London, visit all the attractions, Tower Bridge. And you could actually come to London and not spend anything, really, I suppose. You know, if you're just happy with looking at old buildings and things like that, you wouldn't need to spend anything other than the hotel. So I know about that. But tell me, dear James, what on earth is there to do on visiting Manchester for a whole week? Is there a week's worth of things to do there?
Oh, definitely.
Like?
Definitely. We've got a mini version of the London Eye here.
Just a minute, if I can just come in there and correct and reiterate what you said, a mini version of the London Eye. Now, tell me, what is the point, dear, of coming to London and doing the London Eye and then doing the pretend one in Manchester? Please tell me that.
There seems to be these little pretend ones in most towns now.
Well, there is actually. There's one. I was surprised to find one in Birmingham about 3 years ago, and it wasn't even. It actually appeared in the middle of the blooming town centre.
Yeah, that's where ours is, right in the middle of the centre.
Oh, really? Okay.
So there's that to do. There's loads and loads of museums, very good interactive museums as well, and things for kids. The Imperial War Museum.
Oh, you've got one of those up there as well, have you?
There is, yes. We've got the Imperial War Museum North.
OK, fair enough.
And yes, we've got all sorts of entertainment up there. All the theatres, of course. There's lots and lots of theatres. And yes, I mean, there's plenty to do within a week.
Well, I am surprised. You don't have any theme parks or old buildings, really, surely, up there, do you? Not like...
We do. We have lots of historical buildings. Quite a few of them are slightly out of the city of Manchester, but are within Greater Manchester.
Is that walking distance or bus?
Not walking distance, no.
OK. And what's the travelling like there? Have you got underground or what?
We don't have underground. We have a tram system. Called the Metrolink, which usually is quite good, although I did hear they're going to do engineering work over the summer, so maybe not when Suko's here.
OK.
But there's a very, very good bus service, a very good bus network, and the train services are very good in Manchester.
Oh, well, fair enough. Well, so there is things to do there. I am surprised.
There's lots to do.
Well, I hope you're going to write an itinerary of things for Suko to do. She doesn't want to come here and sit there and listen to you all blooming week, dear, whittering on about whatever.
Well, of course not, of course not. She'll have spent a week doing that with you, so we'll then entertain her afterwards.
Yes, well, they're all coming this year, you know. Everyone's coming. Suko from New York, motorised Millie from Minnesota. She's here. Hello, James.
Coming over. But by the way, Chris,
and
you mentioned
Joe, hang on a minute, and give him a mention as well. I think Joe from AmericanTalkUSA.com is also visiting our fair. They're all coming to us, dear, and we must make them feel welcome. Yeah.
Have you mentioned to your listeners yet that I now weigh less than you after you shamed me with my weight on that show?
I haven't weighed myself today. Now, there has been 2 shows since I mentioned my last weight. The only trouble is, James, and let me just get them over here. For some reason, OK, my sister has seen fit to send me another 2 boxes of chocolate marshmallows. Oh. Can you hear them, darling? But since the last show, OK, right, usually I can't put these down until I've finished with them. Indeed, I wish I hadn't picked them up now, to be honest, because now I don't want them. And they're the most gorgeous chocolate marshmallows covered in like a little clove. Oh dear, I've taken one out of the box.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Oh, and that's another pound going on there, Chris.
They are covered in this lovely gold foil stuff. And, you know, I liken it to gently taking the cloves off these little chocolate things, throwing them away and stuffing them in my mouth, and I love them. And for some reason, well, I know my sister sent them because I now and again I send her a little bit of money. Just for the children and that. And these just arrived completely out of the blue what was it, 2 days ago. And I've only had 4 of them.
You've only had 4?
Yeah, well, you don't realise that's pretty good going. By now, I would usually have had a whole box.
Well, yes, yeah. I remember when I came to visit, you were a bit of a pig. You were just eating everything.
We do like our food, dear. Oh, well.
Do. Yeah, I've worked out why you now weigh more than me, Chris.
Oh, you mentioned that twice now in this show. Yes, go on.
The reason is because when you weigh yourself, you don't dare take all your money out of your pockets, do you?
Too right and all, dear.
That's it.
Put the especially with you down here, my love. Nothing. You have to screw everything down. Oh, Suko, when you go and visit James, leave all your valuable things in the hotel, locked up within the safe, and don't tell anyone your PIN, dear. Just go to James. And whatever you do, when you're walking through the streets of Manchester to James... Is she coming to your house?
I don't know.
If you visit James' house, okay, don't wear anything. It's a little bit like when you go on one of those cruise ships, and there are certain countries that they say, when you get off the boat, don't wear anything shiny or jewellery. Well, when you go and visit James in Manchester, for Christ's sake, don't wear anything of value whatsoever. Wear as little as... Well, I'm saying that wrong, aren't I? little. Don't appear there in a bikini, for Christ's sake, Suko, dear. Oh, my word. Wear as cheaply and as little items as possible, and nothing shiny or no jewellery, because where James lives in Manchester, and it's not all like this, okay, I've got to be honest, Manchester is not all like this, but where he lives, it's rough. My God, it's rough. All right, you watch yourself. It's a good job that your husband used to do the job that he did. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention that, am I? No, I better not, just in case. It's a good job your husband did the job he did, so that he can protect you, Suko, and your gorgeous daughter, Jade. All right? Anyway, mister, is that it then?
That's pretty much what you can do in Manchester. There's actually, while Suko's here, we do have the Ladyboys of Bangkok are appearing with their big pavilion tent.
The what?
The Ladyboys of Bangkok. Surely you've heard of them.
Ladyboys of Bangkok. What's that?
It's sort of like a high-quality drag show.
Okay.
And they have a massive tent, a big, like, circus tent, and they take over an area of the town.
Oh, it's a bit like Seaside Special. Oh, you don't remember that, do you?
Well, I learnt about it in history, yeah.
Pardon? Oh, it was fantastic, Seaside Special. It was like a variety show, and the BBC, I think they did it 3 years running. They would kind of take over one of the big circus tents, Jerry Cottle's Circus, or Billy Smart's, one of those two, back in the 70s. And they would put on these variety shows, hosted by the great Tony Blackburn and David Hamilton. I mean, what more could you want? They all the stars on there. Cliff Richard was on there. I loved it.
What more could you want?
I wondered how long it would take you to fill in that gap then. Now, just
gaps there.
One more thing then, and you'll love this one. I will allow you to use this on your show today, okay? So I'm in the Building Society a couple of days ago, and there was an elderly lady in front of me, probably about 60, 65. I'm standing behind her, and there's no one else in the queue, just me and her, so she's waiting to go forward. So Butterfingers Chris picks up a pen and drops it on the floor, right next to her foot. Right, I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, my love, I've just dropped a pen." She said, "That's all right." So she kind of moved out of the way. And as I bent down, I'm like, "Oh," like that. You know, I've gone down really slowly. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, because I just felt joints aching. Right? This is the first time this has ever happened to me, dear. And I went, oh, and I got sort of near the floor with my fingers ready to pick it up, and then I kind of just stopped and then went down the rest of it really slowly. I didn't actually quite make it. And she said, "Oh, it's all right, dear," and quick as a flash she bent down. "I'll get it for you." I can't believe that.
Well, you know, at your age, you've got to be careful bending down. You can get into all sorts of trouble doing that.
It's all finished, isn't it? I can't even bend over to pick stuff off up the floor now, dear.
I don't know. Just making a note of that. That will be on the next Matinee Show podcast.
Yes, I'm sure it will. James, lovely to talk to you. Thanks for telling us the delights of visiting Manchester. I wonder if you can get Suko round Tameside. Would she be allowed to visit the little studio where you do your tiny little podcast, darling?
Oh, yes, Suko is coming for a radio station visit.
Oh, I bet. Have you invited your...
She might even hang around till 4 o'clock in the morning to hear your show.
How cruel you are to me. You're just so cruel. Will she be visiting any of your 2 celebrity friends?
Say that again, sorry?
Will she be visiting any of your 2 celebrity friends?
I'm not sure, but my 2 celebrity friends are meeting each other this next week because Scott and Dreamboats and Petticoats is near you. It's near you as well, Chris.
Yes, it's in Woking, and now Nikki French, she did email me and says, "Oh, do you remember we were going to see the show this week?" And of course, I've forgotten all about it, haven't I?
Yeah.
I don't think I can make it this week now. If she'd have emailed me a couple of weeks ago, well, it's not her fault, but I should have remembered it. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it with her, which is a shame because I wanted to meet the boy and tell him how marvellous he was performing on the X Factor and how successful was cruelly snatched from him at the last moment by that dreadful girl with the blonde hair. What was her name?
Oh, I can't remember. I stopped watching after he got kicked out.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Vicky someone or other. What's her name?
Possibly, yeah.
She awful. That voice. I can still feel it now in my teeth, dear.
Yes.
Thank you, James.
You're welcome.
Lovely to talk to you. There we are. Goodbye, James. Have a good show.
Goodbye, Mr. Reardon.
Bye now. And thank you for doing the website.
You're welcome.
Good. Bye. There we are. Nice to talk to James Dean there in Manchester. See, there are things to do in Manchester, aren't there, eh? I mean, it surprised me that all this stuff... Oh, hang on, let me turn that off. It surprised me, all these things that there are to do there. I just thought Manchester was just known for a bit of shopping and that sort of thing. Anyway, there we go. Right, let's go to our emails. What about that business, the old lady in the Building Society? Don't worry, dear, she says, I'll pick it up for you. She must have thought, look at that old sad old git, can't get down on his hands and knees to pick up a pen. OK, first of all, we finished the last show talking Robert in Iceland, writing in once again about the elves that live under his staircase. And Anonymous Wayne has sent this in. Now, this has come, an article from Slate, I think it's a newspaper or magazine or something like that, about elves. Now, I think regular listeners and viewers of the show will know about Robert in Iceland and his elves. Now, I thought it was just Robert, and this article is quite concerning and is possibly something to do with all the problems they've had with the money at the moment in Iceland. OK, so pay attention. An article on Iceland's bankruptcy in the April issue of Vanity Fair notes that a large number of Icelanders believe in elves or hidden people. This widespread folklore occasionally disrupts business in the sparsely populated North Atlantic country. Before an aluminium company put a factory up, it had to defer to a government expert to scour the enclosed plant site and certify that no elves were on or under it. The question is, of course, how do you find an elf? If they are hidden people, how on earth do you see them? You find them with psychic powers. Now, they done a poll a couple of years ago. 54% of Icelanders don't deny the existence of elves and 8% believe in them outright, of course, which Robert is one of them. Well, he would be. They're living under his stairs. Although only 3% claim to have ever encountered one, which, of course, again is Robert. Presumably, Robert knows if he knows that the elves are under the stairs, he actually meets them. I wonder what they look like. Do they wear those little pointed hats? The ability to see hidden folk, elves, can't be learned. You are just born with it. To find elves, you don't really need to do anything. Seers, they're called. Okay, seers are the people that can see the elves. They just sense an elfin presence. Ooh. Now, the Vanity Fair article says that elf detection can take 6 months, but it's usually a quick process that can last under an hour. And although the magazine claims that a government expert had to certify the non-existence of elves, the Icelandic embassy insists that these consultations are performed by freelancers, not government contractors. You see, this is all very fascinating, isn't it? I mean, it's all very well. I mean, even me kind of... I don't know. Oh, hang on a minute. I've got a loose wire. Have I got a loose wire? Just a minute. I think I've got a loose... Have I got a loose wire there? I noticed something wasn't properly going up then. Just a minute. There we are. Is that sorted? Oh, give it a good bash. I'll keep an eye on that, actually. Just a minute. Just a minute. Let me move that across there. I can see... Oh, I don't know. Oh, I've unplugged that. Was it that done it? There we are. Where are we now? Oh, I've lost the plot now. Oh, that's it. We're all sort of kind of taking what Robert said with a pinch of salt sometimes, aren't we, you know? And actually, it may be, I think, according to this article, that these elves actually exist. Apparently, they live in another dimension. They build their homes inside rocks and on craggy hillsides and seem to favour lava formations. So I don't know, Robert, is your house built within a rock face or a lava formation? Is it? Is it kind of dug out the side of a hill? The port town of Hafnuff... Oh, I can't say that. Come on! A place near Reykjavik is thought to have a particularly large settlement of elves, as well as other mystical beings like dwarfs, who fit under the broad category of Huldulfolk. And according to local clairvoyants, the Huldulfolk royal family, they even have a royal... These elves have their own royal family, live at the base of a cliff in that town. Elf spotting is an intergenerational phenomenon in Iceland, although more children than adults report seeing them. Indeed, it's thought that many who are born clairvoyant lose their ability after the age of 8. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? We all want to remain children, don't we? Oh, I wish I was still a child. Mummy and Daddy to look after me. Furthermore, it's not just Icelanders or clairvoyants. Just a minute, it's just not like... Oh dear, start again. Furthermore, it's not just Icelanders who have this capacity. Theoretically, anyone from any country can have the power to communicate with elves. Clairvoyants see elves all year round, sometimes in their own backyards, but Christmas and New Year's Eve are considered especially good occasions for elf spotting. You see, so that's when you've got to get out there and see these elves. That's because, according to some legends, these holidays are traditional moving days for the little people. That's when they do their moving. What a strange day to move. Why on earth would you want to move around the Christmas period? We're almost saying about clothes here. Elves often dress in old-timely 19th century outfits like homemade-looking ankle-length skirts, and they come in all sizes. There are thought to be at least 13 types of elves. Some are almost as tall as humans. Now, I always thought they were little people, weren't they? Oh, not that I'm saying they exist. Please don't send the men in white coats round. When Icelanders try to build roads or settlements through the elf dwellings, the elves are said to go bonkers, causing equipment failures and other problems. In the early 1970s, contractors tried to move a large rock to make way for a highway, hired a clairvoyant, and after experienced several minor mishaps, the clairvoyant detected the presence of elves and claimed to obtain a waiver from the supernatural creatures so that work could progress. But the elves weren't finished. A bulldozer operator who had helped move the stone fractured a water pipe that fed into a fish farm, killing thousands of little fish. Well, well, well. So that's it, isn't it? Very interesting. A history of construction projects face elf-related delays, but if a clairvoyant reports seeing elves hanging about a particular rock, an Icelander will probably think twice before blowing it up to make way for a swimming pool. And as the New York Times reported in 2005, planning councils in towns with sizable elf populations try to keep elf interests in mind. So there we are. Thank you very much for sending that, Wayne Anonymous. Where's my bin gone? Very interesting, you see. Perhaps the elves exist after all. You don't know, do you? Email here from Jeff. Hello, Jeff. Jersey Jeff. Oh, incidentally, email people. I mentioned this on the last show. Okay? Apart from any emails you've sent in within the last 7 days, if you've got any older emails that haven't been read out on the show at this point, can you please, if you've still got them, I hope you've still got them, could you please send them in again? Because I think there were a few lost on the computer changeover, okay, when I went from one computer to the other. So it's possible that some got lost, just in case we're kind of thinking, oh, I sent that in 3 weeks ago and he hasn't read it out yet, all right? Hello to Jeff, Jeffrey from New Jersey, Jersey Jeff, USA. Hello, Jeff, who says, hello, Chris. Wow, look, I'm writing twice in 1 year. Yes, we are excited by that. You could write in a little bit more often, Jeff, honestly. I have a request. Would it be at all possible to have a tour of the Mirrorball studio estate? I think many of us would be interested to see the luxury that is the Mirrorball studios. I like to picture your home as you talk about it, and would be interesting to see how my mind's eye picture is different from the real thing. So get out that old video camera and give us a treat. Thank you from Jersey Jeff. Well, I don't know, Jersey Jeff. On one hand, I think we have taken you around a couple of rooms before, but on one hand, I think to myself, yeah, do the film, show people the house and that. And on the other hand, I think to myself, well, you've got this sort of picture in your mind, and it's probably the picture in your mind is probably a lot grander than the real thing. So why spoil that little dream for you, eh? Why should I spoil the little dream? At the moment, the Mirrorball Studios are right state. All the shelves of... hang on a minute, let me just grab this for you. There we are. If you're watching on YouTube, I can give you a little quick look, although I can't pull this wire too far. But we are in a bit of a state here at the moment. I'm gonna just move the camera around. Behind me, I can describe for those of you listening, is a very blank wall now. Okay, everything's been taken down off the wall, all the pictures and everything. The curtains are closed. The reason the curtains are closed is because it's a sunny day. And if the sun comes in, then it makes one side of my face look all white and the other side is all dark. And then all the shelves on one side have been taken down. The note board right in front of me, cork note board, that's still up. That's going to be moved probably today, actually. And indeed, on the other side too, all the shelves have been taken down. The equipment, all I've got left there now is the equipment used to create the show. There's a couple of, you see, two computers. There's two computers, one that does the video side of things, and the other one that does the sound, and that's the one which is like got a couple of green bars that go up and down as I speak. That tells me how loud I talk, and if I talk really quiet like this, then they don't go up very far. And if I talk loud, they go up quite high. And then there's a couple of machines over there with red and green lights on them. That's a compressor. And what they do is they kind of try and even out the sound a bit. So the loud bits don't sound too loud and the quiet bits sound a bit louder. It kind of tries to even it out. There's a bigger Union Jack on the door, and then we're back round again, and there's the mirror ball and what have you. But as you can see, looking rather drab in here at the moment, awaiting decoration, and it's, you know, it's all nearly in place. What I'm going to do today probably is oh, I've got itchy eye now. What I think I'm going to do today is move the equipment from there onto the floor so that I can move that unit. And really, there's not a lot else I can move out of here then until I sort out someone to come and decorate. Now, I didn't have time to do it, but I've got these couple of bits of material here. One's like a goldy colour that I was going to put on the wall behind me with my one of my favourite tools, the gun stapler. Yes, I'm lethal with one of these. I'm telling you that now. I might put them up on the wall behind me for the next few shows, because quite honestly, I don't know when I'm going to be able to arrange someone to come round and sort out behind me and everything. So there we are. Okay, so there we are. A little tour of the Mirrorball studio for you there. All right, dear. Onward. It's Millie, Motorised Millie, who writes a couple of emails, actually. First of all, I was asking how we could refer to someone like herself who's in a wheelchair. And I said, is disabled all right? And she says yes. And she says, you can refer to me anyway as long as you want, as long as you don't use that dreaded word that begins with a C. Now, that word is cripple, okay? Millie hates that word. So we don't use that word to describe someone who's got something wrong with them or well, I say something wrong, something different about them. So we don't use the word cripple. We use the disabled is okay. And you know, so that's Millie's opinion. So there we are. And she is in the wheelchair, so she's the one who's right and we're wrong, I suppose, which is fair enough. She says, I'm sitting here with a big smile on my face at the news that I'll be able to meet up with you while I'm in the UK. I'll finally be able to give you a real honest-to-goodness cuddle instead of the virtual ones I'm sending you. Virtual cuddles are good when there's no other option, but real ones are better. I'm sure to bring some kitty treats for Katie the cat, as well as I can't leave her out. And she wants to know what's the best way of contacting me. Just use the email. You'll be all right on the email there. I know it must be difficult sprinkling Tiny's ashes a couple of weeks ago, so I'm sending you a huge virtual cuddle. All right? So there we are. Millie's on her way over here in a couple of months' time, aren't you, Millie? And I do believe I'm going to meet up with her at some point in... We'll meet in London, actually, on my day off, on my night off, OK? And maybe come and sit at the karaoke. There is a couple of steps in the karaoke. I must check out that you'll be able to get up those, all right? If not, I'll be the one to push you up the steps, OK? Where are we now? Let me see. That's it, this one here. OK. Now, this one is an anonymous email. He doesn't want his name mentioned, so that's cool. Thank you very much for sending it, sir. Dear Chris, oh, the sad O that I am, I'll tell you my story. I lived in the USA for a few years, then my mother got sick, so I flew home and helped my dad. Mum passed, and then my father got ill. But they both died on the same date, June the 17th. Mum at 10:30 and my dad at 10 a.m, exactly 12 years apart. Both at the same hospital and both in the same ward. Spooky, but I know they are now together. Yeah, that's how I think about my parents. Dad died in 1996, Mum died in 2000. And sometimes, and I do talk to them walking around the house, and I wish that they are both happy together and not to worry about what goes on down here on boring old Earth. Perhaps you do the same. Anyway, after I was hit by the wonderful inheritance tax, I found out that I'd have no life over the next few years. What, because of the inheritance tax? Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you're saying there, mate. Because with inheritance tax, you have to pay that. But why has that made you have no life? I don't quite work that out. Perhaps you come back and tell me. Anyway, so he says, so I live in their house, that's his parents' house, and my brother lives a couple of miles away, but we really don't get on, and yep, I am as single as they come. So I have some great friends, but no one local, and I'm not much of a soap fan, and most of the TV shows don't interest me. I end up switching channels and end up having a laugh at the bid TVs and the awful things Ideal World and shopping shows sell us. I know what you mean. Then I decided to bring the computer downstairs, and most nights I ended up playing on the computer with the TV in the background. Saying that, Peter Sherlock from Price Drop has turned into one of my best friends. The same thing has happened with your show. I found you on YouTube and I listened to you in the background. In the background? Please. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? I'm on in the background? Oh, dear. I deserve a little bit more attention than that, surely, my friends. Somewhere along the way, I've lost... I listened to you in the background, and I just love the fact that you are so down to earth and I can identify with most of the things you say. Somewhere along the way, I've lost my get up and go confidence. Maybe it's part of getting old, but I have looked after my family, and now I just don't have it in me to go out during the week. Well, neither do I, really. I don't go out to pubs or anything like that. I work in them. The only time I go out is to visit friends, perhaps on a Tuesday or a Friday, occasionally Friday night. I'm a huge CD and record collector, and I always used to go to hit the West End, but most of the stores have closed down. Yeah, it's a great shame, those record stores. There's something very special about searching through piles of records, isn't there? And it's cheaper online, so now I don't go to London anymore. I don't smoke or drink, never been to the pub. I feel more comfortable in my own company at home, and I also know I need to get out more. So until I invited you into my house as a friendly face with an honest heart... I tried Gaydar radio, and that is too full on for me. I like the fact that you are not over the top. So a hug to you, Mr. Reardon, from Kevin. So thank you for that, Kevin. Over the top? Oh, surely I'm not over the top, Kevin, am I? But I don't know. Do you need to go out? I find a lot of chatting on the internet, that sort of thing. But it would be an idea. Maybe you could go out to London for a little trip, look around the sites. You never know. You might meet someone. I still hope. There's always hope, mate. There's always hope. Thanks for the email, OK? Time for me to go now. Don't forget the email address to the show, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Thanks for watching and listening. See you on the next show. Bye-bye.